The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now, in the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow. I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, the Lord appeared to Moses through a burning bush. And essentially, the Lord had this conversation with Moses and letting Moses know, hey, I hear what's going on with my people. I know the struggle of the Israelites and how the Egyptians are treating them. And I'm going to rescue them. The way I'm going to rescue them is using you. So God gave Moses the rundown on how things were going to play out. And he's like, listen, I just need you to run the play. Go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. I'm going to end up leading through you my people from Egypt to the land that I promised them through my covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so Moses had an excuse every angle. He kept resisting, protesting, like, yo, what do I tell them? Who do I say sent me? What if they don't believe me? I have a stutter. I'm not eloquent in speech. Like, Moses came up with every excuse he could think of. And finally, God was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to send your brother to go with you. And so now you at least have some support, and you claim you don't speak well. So you'll speak to Aaron, and Aaron is going to speak to Pharaoh and letting him know it's time to let my people go. So that's how everything played out then. So now Moses actually went back to Midian, and he asked his father in law, Jethro, like, hey, I really want to go back to Egypt. I don't even know if my relatives are still alive, but if it's cool with you, I'd really like to go back. And so Jethro gave him permission. And before Moses actually went back, God spoke to Moses and he's like, go ahead and go back to Egypt. All those guys, all the people who wanted to take you out, they're dead now. And I find that so interesting. I think the timing is pretty significant as to when God chose to share this tidbit of information with Moses, because he could have started with that. Way back at the bush, God could have told Moses that, because I imagine that in large part, the thought that the people who sought to kill him was on Moses's mind when he was rebelling and protesting. And I just imagine that it might have put his mind a little bit at ease, knowing that God was sending him into a place without that threat being over him. It was after Moses made the decision that no matter what darkness may be facing me, this is what God is telling me to do. And I have made up my mind that I am going to do it. It wasn't until then that God said, okay, wonderful. You're giving me your yes. Now I'm going to give you peace of mind in knowing that the thing that you very likely were afraid of facing again isn't even a threat. So something interesting happened after that. Moses gathered his wife, his sons, and they're on their way back to Egypt. And God told Moses, hey, go tell Pharaoh that the Israelites are my firstborn son. And he needs to let him go. Or if he refuses, I'm going to take out his firstborn son. And then after that, which is just bookmark that, okay? Because it's a foretelling of something that is about to happen. The next thing you know, Moses and his crew, they all stop for the night because they're going on this journey back to Egypt. And it says that the Lord confronted him and was about to kill him. Now, it doesn't tell us exactly who is being referenced when it says that God confronted him and was about to kill him. We don't know if it's talking about Moses or if it's talking about one of Moses' sons. But what we do know is that the next thing we see, Zipporah, which is Moses' wife, circumcises her son and presents the foreskin of her son. And after that, it said the Lord left him alone. Him being, again, we don't know if it was Moses or if it was one of the sons, but this is interesting because Moses is on his way to be this mouthpiece and an advocate for the Israelites. Now, if you think about it, if we go back to Genesis chapter 17, verses 9 through 14, when God had this conversation with Abraham and he let him know, yes, I'm in covenant with you, but these are the terms and conditions of my covenant. I need all of the males to be circumcised because your bodies are going to bear the mark of this covenant. And any male who is not circumcised is cut off from the covenant family. Like it doesn't apply to you. So Moses going in to have this really significant interaction with and be the leader of this people group, he had to come correct. And so God made sure that he had his own family in order before he went trying to make sure that everybody else had their affairs in order to stand in this promise of God. It's like, yeah, your family first. You need to make sure you're representing before you go and try to tell somebody else how to represent it. That was really interesting. And theologians have a lot of different ideas and thoughts that maybe because Zipporah is a Midianite and Moses was living in Midian, that maybe that was a conversation that they had before. Maybe Moses was like, yeah, my son, we need to circumcise him. And she was like, no, not having it. You're not about to snip my little boy. Like, we don't know. But at the same time, I think it's very significant that Zipporah was the one who did the circumcising. And then she presented the foreskin and she was like, okay, cool. She was subscribing to the requirement of this circumcision. And after that, God left him alone. And so the Lord spoke to Aaron, Moses' brother, and gave him instruction to go meet up with his brother Moses. So they're actually on their way to meet up with one another. And when they reconnected and had this reunion, Moses filled Aaron in on everything that God commanded, everything that he said, let him know what the plans were, let him know, hey, look at this staff, like this thing turned into a snake, bro. And he's just letting him know about the miraculous signs. And so Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt, and then they gathered together all the old heads, right? All the elders, and they let them know because they needed these elders to be on board, right? And so they let the elders know, hey, the Lord appeared to us and he spoke to us. He let us know that he hears your groans and your prayers and your cries, and he knows what's going on and he's going to rescue you. And then Moses presented, or he performed the miraculous signs, and then the old heads, they were like, oh, yo, I ain't never seen us like that before. Like, this must be for real. And so they believed and they were on board. And it's like, all right, cool. If that's what God is saying he's going to do, then we believe he's going to do it. And so then they worshiped the Lord and just bowed before him like, yes, this God is concerned about us. And then Moses and Aaron went over and talked to Pharaoh, and they're like, listen, the Lord spoke to us and he said, you need to let my people go so that they can have this festival in honor of me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh's like, oh yeah? So I'm sorry, who is this Lord you're talking about? Because I don't know him. So I don't see why I need to listen to him, because I don't know who you talking about. It is not happening. I'm not about to send my whole labor force into the wilderness to present some sacrifices and hold some festival for a Lord I don't even recognize as my God? Absolutely not. So Moses and Aaron, they're like, listen, our God, the God of the Hebrews, met with us and told us that we need to go into the wilderness. We need to make a 3-day journey. We need to offer sacrifices to him. And if we don't, he's going to send plagues or even worse. And Pharaoh was so unbothered. Like, that sounds like a you problem. But what is becoming my problem is that you're distracting my people from working. And I don't like that too much. And he's like, you know what? As a matter of fact, and he sent one of his servants to go tell the Egyptian slave drivers and the Israelite foremen to stop giving the Hebrews all of the supplies that they needed, but to still require the same daily quota. And he let them know if they have so much time on their hands, then cool, they can go get their own supplies. But I still have the same expectation of work from them. And needless to say, this made things much worse for the Israelites because they couldn't meet the demands. They could not meet their quotas without having everything that they needed in order to meet the quota. And so the Egyptian slave drivers started beating the Israelite foremen that were in charge of the work crews. And the foremen went to Pharaoh and they're like, please, like, don't do us like this. It's not our fault that we're not meeting quotas. Like, your men, your slave drivers, stop giving us what we need in order to meet the quota. So please give us a break. And Pharaoh's like, nah, man, it's not their fault. It's your fault. You know why? Because you're lazy. Yeah, you're just lazy. You want to go out, have this little vacation and throw a little party for your God. But no, since you have all this time on your hands and you making all these plans, you need to go and do the work that I'm telling you to do. And you need to figure it out because I'm not giving you everything you need in order to make it happen. And so the foremen were disheartened and they went to Moses and Aaron and they confronted them like, why couldn't you just leave well enough alone? Now you've made things worse for us and you put a weapon in this man's hand and gave him a reason to use it. Moses went back to the Lord and he's like, come on, Lord, like why did you send me to make things worse for these people? Now they're in even more brutal conditions and you're not doing anything about it, which is really bold for Moses to be so blunt and direct with God. And he, mind you, he may not have had the same tone, but he's communicating the same thing, right? He's still letting him know, you sent me to do something and now things are worse for the people and you're not doing anything about it to rescue them. You got me out here doing things I never would have done, going back to places I never would have gone under the pretense that you were going to rescue your people, and now things are worse. The Lord actually addressed Moses and he let him know, listen, things may have gotten worse for now, but make no mistake about it that I'm going to take care of Pharaoh. And you're going to see it because I'm Yahweh. I'm the Lord. I appeared before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have a covenant with them. I have reaffirmed my covenant with them. I promised to give them the land of Canaan. And I know what's going on with my people. I'm more concerned with them than you could even imagine. I hear their groans and I am fully aware of my covenant with them. You see what you see, but I see what I said. And it was almost like this drops mic moment when the Lord really had to put Moses in check. Like, sometimes things appear to get worse before they get better, but please make no mistake about it. I am still God. I said what I said. I'm sending you to do what I told you to do, and I'm taking care of it. And we're going to stop right there because we'll get into how this taking care of it unfolds in future episodes if the Lord should bless me to record again. But until then, I thank you so much for your time. Bye for now.